This confirms it. We are now in one of these orange consolidation boxes, a period of time where Bitcoin and the altcoins move sideways before the next significant leg up towards the upside. It's happened every single time over the past few years, and we're preparing for that once again. So what confirms it? Well, just yesterday, Donald Trump announced tariffs, far bigger than many people out there expected, which was incredibly bad news for the economy and crypto, you would have thought. But the Bitcoin price, well, it only fell back to the same level it was at the start of Tuesday morning. What does that tell us? Well, it tells us that Bitcoin is pretty much at the bottom and it's not going to get worse from here for crypto. So in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly why that is. I'm going to tell you what's going on Binance right now, because a few of your favorite coins are very likely to list on Binance soon, which could print some serious gains once the bull market gets back into gear. Do me a favor, hit the like button. Let's get into today's video. Now guys, zooming out and looking at the Bitcoin chart over the course of this bull market so far, from the FTX crash until current day, you can see that we are now just in a consolidation zone after a fairly healthy pullback. And while many out there are anticipating things getting worse from here, I promise you, yesterday's news from Donald Trump was some of the worst news that the economy globally could have expected. And that's because of this. Some of the tariffs that Donald Trump has put on various economies around the world were absolutely enormous. 34% on China, 20% on their biggest trading partner, the EU, Vietnam 46%, Taiwan 32%, some significant levels here. And because of this, we saw a huge mix-up in the markets yesterday, which you would have expected from some of these tariffs to really disrupt the crypto prices. So what did we see yesterday, and why is everyone still so full of fear? Well, we saw Bitcoin rallying up to around the $88,000 level. Why did this happen? Well, of course, there was a leak where everyone expected there was only going to be 10% tariffs, all was good, and then guess what? The market makers stepped in and then just sent the price back lower, saying that we weren't quite ready to move up higher just yet. This means that Bitcoin now finds itself at $82,000, which is the same price it pretty much was on Monday and into early Tuesday. So why don't I think we can go significantly lower from here? Well, guess what? The tariff news just dropped. This is the worst it's gonna be. Why? Well, because of this. Donald Trump has come in as aggressively as possible. The US doesn't really want to have this level of tariffs, because if they do, all of the items that you're buying around your house are going to be like 30 to 40% more expensive. Think about everything you own that's sat around you right now, just so I can see. Headphones, the sofa behind me, this particular pen, all these other things are all made in China. These things are all going to get around 30 to 40% more expensive. And the US economy can't really afford that. So all Donald Trump's tried to do is to come in and try and bully economies into getting what he wants. Now, obviously, the EU is probably a bigger trading zone than the US. The EU are going to come back with aggressive tariffs as well. So are the Chinese, so is everyone else. And guess what? The US aren't going to be able to handle all of the tariffs that come back. So what happens is Donald Trump is going to weaken his position on those tariffs. He's come in as aggressively as possible so that he can leave some leeway and bring it down. Guess what happens as soon as he does that? The economy's situation starts to look better. And Bitcoin right now is reflecting the worst case scenario, because Donald Trump has delivered the worst case scenario straight up front, which means that from a news perspective, from an economy perspective, things aren't really going to get that much worse from here. And if you look at these orange zones, we are simply in a fairly obvious consolidation area that we've been in every single time we've seen a pullback in this bull market. Now, this was a pullback from the last bear market where we swung into bull market. And you can see we go through some periods of downside. We have a little fake out towards the top. We level off and then we rally very strongly. Same again before. Back in August 2023, we saw this big sell-off. We have some chop, fake outs. We see consolidation. And guess what? It builds back towards the upside. And then we see ups and downs once more. Then this happens again. Consolidation, consolidation, ups and downs, moves. Consolidations, ups and downs, moves. What is the goal of these periods of time? Well, they're to shake out the over-leveraged positions. And that can be reflected in the funding rates. Back in December, this map, which you can find on coinglass.com, was pretty much orange and yellow. It told you that everyone was in heavily leveraged positions, which is very unstable for crypto markets because people take profits. If people get liquidated, the price comes down quickly, you name it. The fact that this is predominantly green and in fact more towards the kind of blue area, if you were to look at this, tells you that the volume of leveraged trades right now is actually pretty low down, which is a good thing because it means we don't have to see too much more chop before the market starts to improve. And by zooming out even further, you can see that Bitcoin is just in the bull market year. Guys, since 2013, the year after the US election has always led to a bull market, okay? It's led to a bull market because of the 4-year cycle that happens across global economies. And you might be like, oh, these tariffs are different. You know, he's trying to shake everything up. He is. You're right. But what does Donald Trump want to do? He wants to stimulate his economy. He wants his economy to grow over the next few years. As you can see, in 2017, Donald Trump came in with tariffs. We saw a shaky start to 2017 until around the start of April, which is pretty much where we're at right now. And then from there, then you can see Bitcoin rallied around 22x. Now, it's not going to happen this time because obviously Bitcoin's far bigger. But look, every year after the election, we always see positive bull market time. And this is always getting driven by M2. Okay, M2 tops, comes back down. M2 tops, comes back down. And you'll notice that the bull markets always top just before global M2. As you can see in the last bull market, M2 continues to rally, but the Bitcoin price falls off before that. M2 then continues to rally in this one and is now still putting in more highs towards the upside, which tells you that this bull market is by no means over. Now, as you can see, we had this big pullback as the dollar went higher when Donald Trump won the election. Now, the global M2 basically shows you what we can expect to happen in the next few weeks. Okay, it's telling you that it's going higher and we will be significantly higher into May and June than we're at right now. Does that mean that tomorrow or the next day we go up? I don't know. Does it mean that we go up next week or the week after? I don't know. But every single time you see a significant shift up in this black line, somewhere around, give or take 1 week, you see a big rally out of this orange box. Big rally. Okay, big rallies come from all of these orange boxes every time. Now this one is not in confluence because of the ETFs. Now, I made a video on this the other day, which I recommend going and watching if you want to understand more about the M2 right now. But one of the best things to be paying attention to, and one of the most positive things that came out of yesterday's meeting from Donald Trump, is the fact that the dollar is absolutely dumping. Donald Trump is absolutely wrecking the dollar right now, okay? He's doing it not because he's trying to destroy his own country, he's just trying to strong arm everyone else, and he's taking the pain for doing it. This is going to see the dollar continue to weaken, particularly as the euro is rallying really strongly. Guess what's good about this? This is negatively or inversely correlated to global M2. M2 goes up when the dollar goes down, which now means that into June, we are now seeing a continued rally in the M2, and this is cause for excitement. If we see this continue to grow throughout this bull market, then guess what? We're going to have a hell of a year like we did back in 2017 after all of the initial Donald Trump tariff noise was out the way. And remember, news in crypto or news in global markets is like when someone throws a rock in the pond. You have that initial big splash and then the market returns to where it should be afterwards. Think of it like this. We just had the biggest rock thrown in the pond yesterday and crypto didn't really do that bad at all. And yes, you can look across your altcoins and some of them probably took a bit of a hit yesterday. Okay, but guess what? It gives you another real opportunity to be able to get in, because these are the prices that people will be thinking back in their mind, I wish I got in somewhere around here. Somewhere around here, in my opinion, not financial advice of course, is damn close to the bottom, because this is going to drive us higher. We just need to get that noise, the tariffs and whatever out of the way. That's going to be the catalyst for growth, the tariffs weakening over the next few days and weeks. Now, if you've been away from crypto or you're wondering whether to get back in or whatever, the best way to kind of avoid having too much exposure to risk is to really look at those crypto projects that are really building and showing strength and adoption. Ultimately, crypto, for as long as I can remember, because up until now it's been like this, has been all about hype and excitement and mania. This is why we see meme coins going to crazy valuations and other huge market cap coins not really achieve anything. But this time is different because we are starting to see mainstream adoption coming in. Donald Trump is integrating crypto into various different parts of the financial system. Donald Trump is integrating crypto into the banking system. We're about to see blockchain technology take place across all different spectrums of the market. Gaming, real-world assets, AI, you name it, we are going to see that happen. And the projects that I really think are going to see the biggest growth during this bull market are the ones that are actually being adopted, actually onboarding users rather than just being built up and hyped up. And guess who's just given you the blueprint to confirm this is true? Well, it's Binance. As you know, if you've been involved in crypto, at least up until the end of last year, where you saw some positive reaction from the markets, then you would have known that Binance causes very big hype for tokens. When tokens launch on Binance, suddenly you see an influx of liquidity and prices can rally very, very aggressively. However, more recently, people have been complaining a lot about Binance listing a load of shitcoins. They've been listing various meme coins and things like that, and people have complained in their droves. And Binance has now turned around and said, well, instead of that, we're now going to look into real utility tokens and real tokens that are onboarding huge amounts of users. I've shown you in the past to look at DeFi Llama and look at the different chains that are showing strength. Okay, if you look at Solana, for example, Solana died a death in terms of its TVL from the last bull market to the bear market, but it built up really, really aggressively, and that's why we saw a big increase in the Solana price. We've seen this happen across Sui. We've started to see it happen in Aptos, and some of the TVL growth happens before the price of the tokens. This shows you that these platforms are gaining real adoption rather than just seeing token price go up. A very big catalyst once the market returns to a more confident time. Right now we're sat in fear with lots of people panicking about what's going on in the markets. But I promise you, as soon as they start to feel bullish again, the VCs, etc., are going to be pushing and pumping the prices of the coins that are showing the most mainstream adoption. Now, if you want to go and access the list I'm about to show you for yourself, then make sure you go across to Twitter and go and give me a follow. Peter_THOC is my new Twitter account. The other day, I posted a huge thread on why we're going higher sooner rather than you think, which has been incredibly valuable. It's telling you how to break down the global M2, look at the individual M2s like the EU, Japan, China, etc., so that you can understand exactly where crypto will be moving over the next few months. And you can also use this to predict exactly when you should be taking profits from the markets. Now, I'll post this list over here slightly later on so that you can check it out. Now, what's happening is Binance is now running a competition for various different crypto projects that Binance deems to be high utility projects with huge followings of individuals. What else do you really need in a crypto market to find a winner? You need a project that's delivering huge amounts of utility with a passionate following behind it. And it's giving you the list of these tokens here to be able to go and look at. Now, this is a competition that's being run by Binance where you can go and vote for your favorite token to be launched on Binance. Now, whether or not the top one goes and gets launched, I don't know. Whether or not it's like 3 or 4 of these different platforms, I really don't know. But Binance is basically telling you these are some of our favorite projects, and some of these will list very soon, but probably all of these are going to list at some point throughout the bull market. In my opinion, that's pretty much what Binance is telling us. Now, as you look at this list, many of you will recognize a lot of the ones nearer the top. Like, I personally know Aether, I know Plume, I know Ondo, Virtuals Protocol, Grass, IP. I don't really know UX Link, but apparently this is really popular in South Korea. Let me know down below if you know UX Link. Let me know what that's all about. I don't personally know too much about it. But as you come down this list, if you are wondering right now where you should be looking for less risk on investment, but with decent returns potentials, I would suggest that this is a damn good list to go and look at. Just saying, not financial advice. Go and do your own research. I personally hold Aether. It's an AI DeepIn project that provides AI compute power via cloud. This is a pretty interesting project because they're already generating $100 million of revenue per year, making it pretty much a top 10 project when you look at the revenue compared to the actual token price. This will eventually feed back into the token price as time goes on because they will use those funds, some of those funds, to be investing in their own tokens. You got down below Plume, a very popular real-world asset token that's starting to bring in a huge amount of capital. Ondo has obviously been around for a while. It's been partnered with BlackRock, has also been bringing in a huge amount of institutional investment where you can invest in stock exchange products by using the blockchain. Also coming down below, Virtual Protocol, which was like a pump fund for AI agents. Again, this tells you what Binance thinks is going to be the main movers in this bull market, not just by project, okay, but it's also showing you that Binance believes in AI. It believes in real-world assets. It believes in AI agents. As you come down the list, we've got Big Time, which is a game. It believes in gaming. Morpho, I'm not sure about some of these down below. Walrus, I know, is on Sui. Sui has been seeing a huge amount of growth recently. Walrus is a very exciting project being launched on Sui. I made a video about this the other day if you would like to go and check out more about Walrus. But guys, if you were to make a short list of products to go and look into, this would be where I personally would be looking. As I've said, I personally hold Aether, I hold Ondo. Tomorrow, I will inform you exactly all the coins that I'm holding in my portfolio. I'm literally going to make the video right now I know I've been promising this for weeks, but I want to make this video right now so I can show you exactly all of the different altcoins that I'm personally holding in my portfolio. Why would I go after altcoins like this? Well, guys, if you believe that the bull market is still on because of global liquidity increasing, because of M2 money supply, because of the fact that right now we have the worst conditions with the highest interest rates for the dollar, the global currency, Donald Trump coming in with some of the strongest tariffs, and yet the Bitcoin price just sat there. It tells you that this price is being suppressed, that as soon as all of these conditions start to improve, which they will, you're going to see this price is going absolutely bonkers. The ones that I think are going to go most bonkers are the ones in the strongest narratives, like I've just said, but also they tell you that should anything significant happen, like the EU comes back and says, okay, Donald Trump, you're going to pay us 5x on everything, that you want to send to us, then, you could see a little bit of a dip further downside. But those projects will for sure react reasonably positively. They won't see particularly bad downside, and if they do, so what? They're going to survive because they have massive revenue driving them forward. We can't say the same for meme coins and others that don't have any revenue generation, etc. So if you want to catch that video I'm making tomorrow, where I will talk about my whole portfolio, where I've basically allocated different assets, why I've allocated assets there, different percentages of each ones that I'm holding, then make sure you're subscribed to the House of Crypto, notification bell turned on. I know that right now people are like, oh, it's a terrible time to buy, the market's bleeding. Guys, the market's designed like that, okay? The market has been horrible. It's going to chop sideways like it always does throughout these periods of time because it's designed to shake you out and make you feel like it's hopeless, like you should be getting out right now. If ever there has been an easy model to follow in crypto, it's by understanding this. Let's just take Luke Belmar as an example. Popular influencer across the kind of like the make money niche, I would say. Pretty big in crypto when there's money to be made in crypto. Come down below, he says, Bitcoin will be worth 300k one day and you'll be mad that you didn't buy at these prices. Now, will it be worth 300k in this bull market? I'm not going to speculate on that, but there's a good chance that at some point in the future it is worth 300k. Now, if you look down through the list, you can see people like bro shilling Bitcoin. The run is over. Go home, kids. It will be, but not anytime soon. Not now. Not yet. Okay? This always happens when the market's about to go up. No one's expecting it's going to go up. Then it goes up. Guess what happens? When it starts to go up, everyone's like, it's never going to come down. Eventually, it comes down when everyone thinks it's going to carry on going up. You don't even need to look at charts or prices. Probably the easiest thing to do is follow big influencers and just look at the comments down below if you want to understand what's really going on with the particular sentiment of the market. Now, by betting against the popular sentiment, which I think you'll agree is pretty damn bearish today, then you don't tend to do too badly in these markets. Now, guys, if you're interested in buying any different cryptocurrencies that I've personally talked about on this video, obviously do your own research before doing so, then do so through either Bitunix or WEEX. Both linked down below. Both come with significant bonuses if you use my links. Why do I use those exchanges? Well, they don't require KYC, which means you can start using them no matter where you are in the world without having to input all your details and information. You can also trade a huge range of different altcoins from very small cap up to mid and large cap coins. If you want to be able to buy smaller cap coins throughout this bull market, you're not going to be able to do it on the likes of Binance because Binance is incredibly difficult to list on. They will only list some of the biggest coins. Also, WEEX and Bitunix have some of the lowest fees across crypto, so make sure you use my link down below in the description should you wish to go and purchase different altcoins. Make sure you subscribe and I'll see you tomorrow in yet another video. Bye-bye.